Right guys, MX-5 1.8 Sport, this model. Well, it's got a few problems, i.e. rust everywhere. They corrode and go rotten. So if you want to turn one of these into one of these, then fire us a phone call, send us a Facebook message, send us an email. We'll come back to you. It's a cracking car. They start from about 8,500. Roll the titles. Hi guys, welcome back to Kit Car Direct and MK Sports Cars. Another week flown by. Absolutely crazy busy. As always, busy in the workshop, busy in the parts department side. If you like what you see and you're into your kit cars, guys, then why not subscribe to our channel? Press subscribe, click on the bell icon, press all, and it'll send you notifications each week. So what we've been up to? Well, there's a couple of workshop spaces now. So the booster turbo has been finished. That's gone out the door. You probably would have seen that on the revolving platform if you're signed up to our Facebook. Seeing a close-up of that car. All the bits done, MOT's done, quick release boss, all the little niggly bits and jobs that you wanted done on that. So feels got a little bit of tidying up to do elsewhere, and then he'll be fighting the B roads and the tracks with it soon, hopefully, when the sun comes out. And also, you probably saw we was at Norwich IVA this week with the DAX. So, you know, last couple of weeks we've been preparing that car. Well, pleased to say, passed first time. So, you know, again, it's a bit like us. We always say, follow the manual or follow the guides. It's all there in black and white. There's no reason why it shouldn't pass. Some people miss silly little mistakes, you know, and it happens. But what's the worst that can happen? Yeah, you just fix those little bits, you go back and you get a pass. So that's where we've been up to this week. Right, so as we know, the beating heart of this chassis is the 1.8 Mazda engine. This started off out in a rust bucket of a MX-5, generally known, and we've actually had one of these in today. So the main foam part is the rust. It kills these things. On the wings, top suspension joints, rust on the seals, all on the seatbelt mounts, etc. It's generally known on Mark IIs and Mark 2.5s. So turn one in these, which is all great, all the mechanicals are sound on this. It's done about 100,000 miles, but it's sound, there's no smoke and everything else. It passed emissions from it, everything else. If you want to turn it into something that goes a little bit faster. So what we've been on with this week, really? Well, it's been out there already on socials. OMEX. We've started to wire in the 600 management. We've had the looms made for this. So we've got the OMEX management here, all plugs in on a multi-plug system, all in the injectors on the top here of the plenum. The plenum's gone on now as well. TPS is wired up. We've got a couple of things like for the air temperature sensor to plug in once we put the filter on here. But generally it's only like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10 or 11 plugs really to run the engine now, rather than what we'll show you over there in a minute. And then that plugs into our standalone loom, which runs all your accessories and etc. there, your fuse box for it here, and then there's all the wiring as well. So we've got that to do. A couple of little bits you have to do for modifications. It don't run on the standard TPS, on the crank position sensor. So we have to put on this trigger wheel, which has the two missing teeth, so to speak, here. This has got to be bolted onto the bottom pulley. So that's got to happen next. That's the next job. Fuel lines are in. They've been plumbed up. We will put that out there because a couple of people have asked questions, which is the return and which is the feed on the Mazda. Well, if you've got your pressure regulator, normally it goes up to the pressure regulator, through the fuel out to pressure, and then out the other side. 90% of them work that way, but there's a diagram out there. We've put that out there as well. So we've been wiring, doing about oil pressure is in here. We bring this off of, we take the standard oil pressure switch under here off. That's a 1/8 BSP. Most senders do come 1/8 BSP, so sometimes you have to tap those out. But Richard's going to be running a DigiDash, so we just put that all in, plumbing the wiring in as well for that, etc. Top hose is in. This is slightly different from standard. We've put in a a fitting here. It's an inline fitting, and that's running for the coolant temperature, because again, he's running a digidash rather than the standard clocks and dials, and same with the oil pressure switch. So we're putting all of that in. Bottom hose is in, coolant hose in, top hose, all the feed lines are in that run from the water cooled oil cooler. And this is a sort of we've got these parts on the shelf now, these sort of coloured silicone hose kits as well. Exhaust system's on, panels bonded on this side, so the exhaust and link pipe with a 6-inch silencer, 2.5-inch straight through on these. A nice little rasp actually. And we'll be on with the other panel. We've been a little bit slower on that because we had to bolt the plenum on, mainly because when you come around here trying to get the plenum on without the side panel in place to get to all these bolts is harder, so we left it off for this section just to get the plenum back on. We've bolted on the EGR valve blanks. These guys are available. Again, we've got them in stock and on the shelf. So we blanked off all the EGR, these two here. This normally links up to a pipe round here which gets tapped off, and blank this off as well. This one, if you want to do it later on, this will get blank for now, but this can also run for your boost feed if you're going turbo at a later date for the small silicone nose. So that's kind of where we've been with Richard's car. Little bits beyond the sea. We've got the pulley here, which we've got to then line up for the trigger wheel to sit behind there as well. So that's a job to start next week, and then we'll start buttoning it up, and then with a few little niggly jobs to get that back down on the ground into a full roller. But while we're talking about up in the air, these lifts. Everybody's asked me about these lifts. So we've got about 3 or 4 of these. They're really good. They're not hydraulic. You don't have to have electrics or anything else. They're manually operated with electric drill. Decent height for in your build, as you can see. It's a really good height. And then if you want to drop it down on the ground, you can put your engine in, etc. Or even when you want to service it later on, all 4 corners are up in the air. They do tilt backwards and forwards. And we've procured these, and we've got them available on our website now. So Neil may ping a link up, or if you've got any questions on it, bung us a message, and we'll chat to you about them, and we can get them delivered to your door. So you don't even have to collect them, you can get them delivered direct. So cracking bit of kit, and it takes about, I think it's 1.5 ton, I think, isn't it? Something like that they take? About 1.5 ton. So more than ample for this. And even if you used it and built your car on it, you could probably sell it later on and get 90% of your money back, because cracking bit of kit. But I'd probably keep it. Ideal. R1 MC time. Again, Mazda based, so if you get an old Mazda, you can turn it into a bike engine one, even better. Maybe it's a bit different. So we've been on with this as well. Side panels, again, bonded on this one, on both sides. We've done this week, finished all the final trim and fit of those, they've gone in. Seats are in, they've been bonded. As we say, guys, top tip maybe, it's so much easier to fit your seats before you fit the side panels. It's just drilling the holes out, really. That's the main reason. You get into the side and etc. So we've put them in. You can take them out now afterwards. You can play around with the rest of the interior. So we've done those. This one's been solid mounted. That's on a runner. Then we've been on again with electrics. Things like we've been plugging in, like the exhaust servo eliminators, which is this. So got a servo based on that. We've been plugging those bits of kits in, etc. Airbox. This was a custom airbox though. This is not standard, guys. It's not something we make. It's a custom airbox we had that was made quite a while ago actually for this engine. So a standard airbox for the R1 will work, but this is a custom one that was been made. Quite a bit of work gone into that. Coolant hoses, top and bottom are in. All the fill lines are in. All the metal pipes and T-works in there as well. And then we're just going to be finishing on with a little bit of tying up the wiring. Our sprocket adapter that had to go on, that's gone on as well. We'll finish off now. The exhaust and all of that system can now start to get bolted on as well. So it's little niggly bits, but all the trimming, this has all been done for OEVA, all the trimming around the panels, etc. as well. So cool, that's kind of where we've been at with the MC this week. The left-hand drive Mazda RX5, well, we've been on with the wiring. You say the difference between the two from the OMEX system and this, we have been thinning it out and starting to lay it all up and get this into some kind of groups here this week. In fact, it's mainly been today we've worked on this. So plugging in the ECU is here. We've got to finish that off. We've got to chop some brackets down, and this is the standard instrumentation which we do the dashboard for. That's all plugged in ready. So what we'll do is a trial fit all of this in and then fire the engine and make sure it all works before we button up all the electrics as well. So we've been tinkering away with that, some coolant hoses, and all the electrical tie lines are in. So we saddle bush here here, all the way under the chassis rail. Got a fitting here, a fitting here, fitting here. Every 200 chaps, really, just to secure it for IVA. And then these little saddle bushes. Then you can always take them off with a cable tie later on. If you're P-clipping, it's hard to get back and checking any wiring issues and testing circuits. So saddle bush, cable tie, much easier later on. And then we'll do things like the EGR valve blank. We'll probably put that in there as well and get that all blanked off and tidied up. So it's kind of wiring. Unfortunately, does take a while. It is a bit of a bird's nest, this looking, but it will start to dial in. Brake line pots are in as well. We've put those in. So we've got the clutch, which don't need it, but then you need these low-level warning floats in for your front and rear master cylinders. Again, that's for an IVA compliance thing, really, on a warning. So it's kind of where we've been with the Mazda kits, and say most of the work we've sort of been on, the DAX and the other booster car, a couple other bits through the workshop as well this week. So I've had carbon delivery again this week, so things like bonnet scoops, aero screens, and what have we got here? Knacker ducts, etc. These are very nice, look. Very nice. Knacker ducts, all in stock now. So this will be winging away to your doorsteps now, chaps. It only came in the other day and we've been shipping up. We've been a little bit behind, not going to lie, on the carbon, so apologies for that. It's been lots of things going on in the world, believe it or not, isn't there? So this is all going to be winging its way out to your doorsteps, and hopefully you'll appreciate and start working with your product and fixing them up over the garage maybe over Christmas. Or maybe it's going to be a Christmas present to yourself, some CSRs or aero screen or a knacker duct, etc. So that's what we've been on with as well this week. Chassis production, still cracking on. I've had another one landed this week, but we'll, that should be heading over to its owner in the next week. I won't tell you who the lucky owner is. We'll get the parts to give you a call and let you know who it is. So yeah, and also we're going to be looking at doing a little bit of a Christmas special, a video. Me and Neil are going to sit down, have a chat about 2020, what holds on for 2021. So if you want to ask any questions about the company or what direction we're doing or anything about me and Neil, etc., or the team, fire us a message or an email. We'd be happy to try and answer your questions. So we're going to roll that out over Christmas. Won't be having to do cars so much about what we've done and what's gone on this year and what we hope to be going on next year. And maybe there'll be something new that's coming out and we can let you guys know. So look out for that over the Christmas. But in the interim time, send us your questions in, chaps. We'd love to know. Could be, what's my favourite car? What's my favourite engine? I don't know. You ask me anything, I'll try. Apart from the inside leg measurement, I don't know that. There we go. So that's it for this week, guys. And, well, what can I say? Another week's flown by. You press that subscribe button if you like what we do. And hopefully, after lockdown soon, you'll be able to come down and see us here at the factory. So, like, share, guys. We'll catch you next week. Into one of these, into one of these, and pick up the phone! No, I can't do that. Roll the titles, boom. Yeah, well, I can talk about that. So all the mechanicals are sound, if you want. Stop it then. Press stop.